All right, next up, we've got a question from Chris D, who asked, any suggestions for someone learning or someone looking to learn the basics? Good question. I believe I've mentioned this in various videos around, but YouTube is a great place. Listening to this podcast, not a shameless plug, but we've answered an obscene amount of questions from basics to advanced. Finding out and reaching out into your local community, find out when the next barbecue festival is happening, and then find out the roster, and then reach out to those guys online and say, hey, my name is Chris. I'm interested in getting into the barbecue world. I would love to come be an extra set of hands for you at your next event. Whatever you need me to do, I'll sweep up, I'll dump trash, I'll pour out grease. Whatever you need me to do, I'm there. Now, you can get books and, like I said, YouTube and stuff like that, but I promise you, a day working with someone in the business is going to bring you so much more information and hands-on experience than any book is going to be able to give you. Not to say that books aren't worth it, because you've got some great ones released this year. You've got a wonderful book by Matt Horn. You've got Mr. Kevin Bludso released his book. Rodney Scott's book is amazing as well. So there's a ton of books out there to read to learn how to make the food recipes, follow it step by step. But I promise you, nothing is going to beat hands-on. And this gets you into the community and gets you familiar with those in your area. Because if you do continue to grow and pursue this, you're going to want to know some of these guys. Hey, how did you get started? How did you get this gig here? Like, who's your meat supplier? And granted, these are conversations and questions you'll have way down the line. But if you're just starting, aside from, YouTube University and Googling things and getting some books, I would heavily recommend, especially now in the peak of barbecue season, heavily recommend jump on Facebook, jump on the internet, find out when the next barbecue events are happening in or around your area, and then who's on the roster, and get on social media and start knocking on doors. It can seem intimidating, but the worst thing they can say is no. And a no is not that scary. After the first one, you're like, oh, all right, cool. I'll go ask again. And maybe you bring something with you, like, hey, and if they say yeah, be like, oh man, I appreciate it. Do you have like a favorite beer? Do you have a favorite whiskey or something? Do you like a cigar? I'd love to bring you something as a thank you of my appreciation. Even if they say, no, it's not necessary, still do it. Still do it, because it shows that you respect their time and you respect the information and access that they're giving you. A lot of times people reach out wanting to get and take and get and just but they're not offering anything. I can afford my own coffee. I can afford my own whatever, but I'll always try to help the person who's really trying to go above and extra. So if you're trying to get in, reach out to your local community, knock on some doors, explain and introduce who you are, and show that you could be a valued asset to them in their business and in their time. That's just my suggestion, but I hope it helps, and I wish you the best as you start this journey.